Doctor Who, The Seeds of Doom, the 11th story of the 4th Doctor, is written by Robert Banks Stewart and starring Tom Baker and Elizabeth Sladen. The writer took an inspiration from the writing of the ecological tale of rampant flora by his home at Buting View Gardens, as well as his familial connection to botanist Joseph Banks. So the story begins at Antarctica, where Morbally and Winlet digging up a giant seed of some sort, and they took it inside the camp, and John Stevenson identifies it as a vegetable base and estimates it has been buried in the ice for some 20,000 years. So the unit sends the Doctor and Sarah Jane down there to find more about the pod, while Harrison Chase, who's living in a place full of plants, he was shown the photo of pods and believed it could be valuable. It was pretty scary where Winlet was half asleep near the pod. It opened and the tentacle touched him, which infected him and starts to become more like a human plant. That is some great effects there. It looks like it was directed by Sam Raimi. The Doctor and Sarah Jane went in to examine the pod and the infected Winlet, and believing what's happening to Winlet is worse than death. The Doctor explains that crinoids are galactic weed, except it's deadlier than any other weed. And it's pretty funny that the Doctor was like, I used to be younger, aren't we all? Later, Scorby and Keeler were sent to the camp by Chase. There's a scary cliffhanger where Winlet's crinoid strangled Morbally to death. Sarah Jane found him and told the Doctor and Stevenson that, while Scorby is smashing the place up to find the pod, Dunbar lets Chase know about an infection of the base. But he was shocked by the fact that Chase tells him he has sent his own men to Antarctica, and he's like, yeah, I protect my staff. The Doctor, Sarah Jane and Stevenson goes to find the crinoids without knowing that their items has been sabotaged. They briefly saw crinoid, but lost it. So while Stevenson checks something, the Doctor and Sarah Jane enters the sickbay with Morbally covered up with blanket, and they're held at gunpoint. I find it hilarious where Scorby asks the Doctor to turn around, and he does a full 360 turn.
Turn around, Doctor. Facing this way.
Love it. So he faced Scorby and explained that what crinoids is, they're not safe in the camp. Of course, Scorby disbelieved him, so he tied the Doctor and Sarah Jane up, and then Stevenson joined to be held at gunpoint. After Scorby got the second pod, as the first was already opened, the one that infected Winlet earlier, Scorby decided to take Sarah Jane into the generator plant and placing the bomb to blow the entire camp up. It was effective but dangerous, the fact that the Doctor used a broken glass to untie himself and Stevenson. Keeler tried to fight with Scorby because of what he's doing, but it was no use. Scorby and Keeler left. The Doctor rescued Sarah Jane, and it was really sad that Stevenson is killed by a crinoid. Then the creature found the Doctor and Sarah Jane. They both ran, as the crinoid is locked inside, and the base is blown up. The Antarctica scenes were shot at a quarry Buckland, Surrey. Chase's estate was filmed in Atherlampton Hall in Dorset, and BBC Television Centre in White City, London served as the location for the world's Ecology Centre. The Seeds of Doom is the third Doctor Who story to have all of its exterior location scenes shot in outside broadcast videotape rather than film before the official switch over in 1986. The first two was Robot and the Centauran Experiment. After the camp is destroyed by Scorby, team from South Bend managed to pick Sarah Jane and the Doctor up, and it was really funny when the Doctor woke up and saying good morning, while Scorby and Keeler handed over the pods to Chase, and learning that the Doctor and Sarah Jane are still alive. The Doctor and Sarah Jane tell Sir Colin about the pod and how dangerous it is, so the lift was arranged. As the Doctor and Sarah Jane got into the limo, it strangely drove to a quarry, and the driver held them at gunpoint, tell them to get out. But the Doctor wrestled the driver, so he and Sarah Jane took cover, distracting the driver, and the Doctor gives him a good punch, which knocked him out, and discovered a flower was painted by Amelia Ducat, which of course the Doctor mispronounced her surname as Duckett. Sorry, it's pretty funny. I don't know why it's funny though, so don't ask. So the Doctor and Sarah Jane later paid her a visit, and apparently that the owner of the painting is Harrison Chase, and she also said that he never paid her for the painting. The Doctor's dialogue with Amelia Ducat about the car boot and model is an homage to Oscar Wilde's The Importance of Being Earnest.
No, we found it in a car boot.
A car boot?
A Daimler car boot.
The car is immaterial.
Despite the Doctor tried to disguise himself as a chauffeur, and he, with Sarah Jane, sneaking into the house, the guards have caught them. I like that running scene, it is great to watch.
Halt! Or I'll fire! Just act natural.
As they ran into Scorby, they're taken to meet Chase, who loves his collection of plants and refuses to hand over the pod, and the way the Doctor introduces is brilliant.
How do you do? Have you met Miss Smith? She's my best friend.
Is she? And still beautifully intact, I see.
I try my best under the circumstances.
I love the bit where Chase shows the Doctor and Sarah Jane his plant laboratory, and the music is a great fitting, especially where the Doctor thought the music was terrible.
All right.
Later, Chase tells Keeler to inject more nitrogen into the pod, despite he was against it. While Scorby takes the Doctor and Sarah Jane to the garden, they manage to get away. And the bit where the Doctor twisted Scorby's head, it looks like he snapped his neck.
Come along, Sarah.
Which is brutal. Scorby is still alive and his neck is fine. After the Doctor got Sarah Jane to use a rope to lower down from the wall so she can warn Sir Colin, she gets captured again. That scene was so intense. The jump scare is excellent, even without the music for it. The Doctor climbed on the roof to see what Chase is up to and realised Sarah Jane is taken inside. And there's a crazy scene where Chase tries to get Sarah Jane to touch the plant because he wants to know what happens, which obviously that could lead to her being affected.
You can't, it's inhuman.
I don't care. I must know what happens when the crinoid touches human flesh.
Tom Baker is fantastic as the Fourth Doctor. Elizabeth Sladen is great as Sarah Jane. I love their chemistry. I think they're brilliant together. Tom Beckley plays Harrison Chase, a villainous millionaire who loves plants. His hobby was botany. In its pursuit, he assembled the world's largest collection of plants and disdained humanity in favour of plant life. He even composed music for the plants in his greenhouse to make the plants calm and grow. He did a great job playing a mind-twisted villain. Chase's nearly omnipresent black gloves were not in the script. Tony Beckley added them to his character's wardrobe as a quirk of Chase's, and they're never explained in the story. He's seen barehanded only twice, when assembling his camera and when he's meditating inside his greenhouse. Philip Hinchcliffe wrote the gloves into his novelization of the story, explaining that Chase wore them to limit his physical contact with his fellow humans. He only liked touching plants barehanded. John Challis plays Scorby, a mercenary hired by Chase. His performance as the villain is fantastic as well. Challis later voiced the fifth Drax in The Trouble with Drax. Apparently, he was one of the actors considered for the role as the Fifth Doctor. Mark Jones plays Arnold Keeler, a botanist. He's great too. And I feel sorry for him because he didn't want to be a villain. He was only doing what he's told. Jones also voiced crinoids, large carnivores, alien plants that could be thought of as galactic weeds. When they take over, all animal life would become extinct, as crinoids desired that all plants should win against the animals that ate them. I love the crinoids, they're terrifying, and they should definitely return. The humanoid crinoid costume was a mortified Axon costume painted green. Ironically, plans for a collect and build crinoid toy were abandoned, and the Chronoid toy was instead painted orange and pink and turned into an Axon toy. In his introduction for the Pinnacle Books editions of the Target Books novelizations, Harlan Ellison cited several of the Fourth Doctor's enemies, including the spore beast called the Chronoid. A Chronoid kills a Dalek in Introduction to the Night. Herbert Rees plays John Stevenson, a botanist who's part of a World Ecology Bureau scientific expedition in Antarctica. I really like Stevenson, he's canny. Rees previously played Chief Engineer in Fury from the Deep and Captain Ransom in the War Games. John Gleeson plays Charles Winlet, a scientist who's infected and turns into Chronoid. He's great too. The script describes the initial effect of the Chronoid in Winlet's skin as it having gone mouldy. Gleeson previously played a Thal soldier in Genesis of the Daleks. Michael Mustay plays Derek Moberly, a zoologist who's part of the expedition in Antarctica. He's great too. Kenneth Gilbert plays Richard Dunbar, who works in the World Ecology Bureau. He's great too. Michael Barrington plays Sir Colin Thackeray, the head of the World Ecology Bureau. He gives off fantastic performance. Seymour Green plays Hargreaves, the butler of Harrison Chase at Chase Mansion. He's great too. Hargreaves, the butler, aboard the ship HMS Aquitaine, was in homage to the character, as was the story as a whole to the Seeds of Doom. According to Aquitaine Audio, Green later played Chamberlain in The Twin Dilemma. Sylvia Coleridge plays Amelia Duca, an artist, and Sarah Jane said she's one of the world's leading flower artists. I like her, she's lovely. David Masterman and Harry Fielder plays guards employed by Chase. They're badass. Fielder later played guard in The Armageddon Factor and Krag in Shada, although booked, but his scenes were never recorded due to a strike. Derek Southern got the credit for the VHS and DVD release. As for his uncredited characters he played, Central European Guard in The Enemy of the World, Wheel crew member in The Wheel in Space, Guard in Planet of the Spiders, Vogan in Revenge of the Cybermen, Guard in The Deadly Assassin, Second Assassin in The Face of Evil, Titan-based crewman in The Invisible Enemy, Levithian Guard in The Repos Operation, Tigerlin in Meglos, and Security Guard in Castrovalva. Ian Fairbairn plays Dr. Chester, a medical doctor stationed at the South Bend base in Antarctica. He's canny. Fairbairn also played Questa in The Macra Terror, Mark Gregory in The Invasion, John Bromley, and uncredited voice of the penetration announcer in Inferno. Alan Chunds plays Harrison Chase's chauffeur. He does a great job as well. Chunds played a lot of stunts in many classic era stories, starting from The Invasion and ending it in The Visitation. John Atchison plays Major Martin Beresford, the unit officer. He's great too. The character of Major Beresford was created for the Seeds of Doom as a unit, appeared only in parts 5 and 6, and it was felt there was too little material to warrant bringing back Nicholas Courtney as the Brigadier. Ray Barron plays Sergeant Henderson, a unit officer. He's canny as well. His character was created because it was the same thing in terms of bringing back John Levine as Benton. The sets and music by Jeffrey Bergen are phenomenal. The effects for its time and low budget is superb. This is the last Doctor Who story directed by Douglas Camfield, and I think his direction is awesome. So the Doctor broke through the window on the roof, which is a great entrance. And stopping everyone from getting Sarah Jane infected by the plant from the pods, but unfortunately it got Keeler, so the Doctor got Sarah Jane to hide while the Doctor went back in and confronts Scorby and then tied up, while Keeler is mutating into Chronoid and begging to go to the hospital. Chase was fascinated by it. At night, Sarah Jane found Keeler. Keeler begged Sarah Jane to set him free, but she was too scared, as he could change any minute, which resulted him getting aggressive. That is a really sad scene, and I really do feel sorry for him. Meanwhile, Miss Ducat came to get the money from Chase, when Chase writes Amelia Ducar a check as belated payment for the painting he bought from her, the black leather gloves inadvertently cause Tom Beckley to tear 2 checks out of the prop checkbook instead of just one, a mistake that remained in the finished program. So Amelia was taken by Scorby down the corridor, but while he was distracted, Sarah Jane managed to discreetly telling her to warn Sir Colin. After that, Scorby showed Amelia out, while Sarah Jane returns to her hiding place. Then she saved the Doctor just in time from being sliced into the crusher at the compost room. Amelia passed on the message to Sir Colin, so Dunbar said if he doesn't come back in half an hour, contact unit. Dunbar wanted the experiment to stop and goes to get help for Keeler, so Chase sends Scorby to get after him, but Keeler is missing from the bed. And there's a terrifying cliffhanger where the Doctor and Sarah Jane finds Cronoid and Dunbar is killed. As Scorby and the guards arrived, everyone escaped and took cover inside the cottage, trying to keep the Cronoids out, but then a tentacle broke into a window and it speaks with Keeler's voice, which is creepy.
The human was Keeler, now of us.
Demanding that if the Doctor comes out, it will spare the others, giving them until daybreak. Scorby decides to give the Doctor up, but Sarah Jane said if that happened, there's no chance of survival. So then the Doctor suggested a bomb, so the Molotov cocktail was made and Scorby thrown it to distract Cronoid so they can escape. That scene received a complaint from Mary Whitehouse and said, and I quote, "Strangulation by hand, by claw, by obscene vegetable matter is the latest gimmick, sufficiently close up so they get the point, and just for a little verity show the children how to make a Molotov cocktail," and finding the story violent imagery, which is mad. After Amelia gave Sir Colin advice, he eventually got through to Major Beresford for assistance despite trying to contact Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart as he was in Geneva. Throughout this part, Chase was taking some pictures of plants and then his mind is somewhere else as Scorby, Sarah Jane and Hargreaves confronts him.
Please, listen to me.
A harmony of root, stem, leaf.
After the plants were closing in on them, the Doctor and Sergeant Henderson arrived using chemical plant killer to save Sarah Jane and Scorby, but Hargreaves was already dead. While the Doctor, Sarah Jane, Scorby and Sergeant Henderson removes the plants from the lab, Chase locks them out, while Cronoids towers over the mansion, so then unit soldiers shoot at the Cronoids, but bullets have no effect.
And another.
So the Doctor and the group found another way in, and figured that Chase may have been possessed, which is why the plants didn't harm him. Scorby believes himself to be a true survivor at everything, so he recklessly ran out without listening to the Doctor and Sarah Jane, but Cronoid drowned him. So then Sergeant Henderson finds Chase in the compost room, but then later being shredded into pieces by the compost shredder machine. Eventually, the Doctor and Sarah Jane got to Chase. As the Doctor was about to get pulled into the shredder, Sarah Jane tries to reach the buttons. As she's saving the Doctor, Chase gets sliced. So after missile blown the Cronoids and the building, with the Doctor and Sarah Jane escaped, everything is okay again. Sir Colin wants the Doctor to address the Royal Horticultural Society, but the Doctor said he's 2 centuries booked, but any time after that, who knows if he's joking or not. In the end, the Doctor offers Sarah Jane to take her on a holiday to Cassiopeia, but the TARDIS took them back to Antarctica when the Doctor forgets to reset the coordinates. The Doctor and Sarah Jane said, and I quote, "Have we been here before, or are we yet to come?" Very interesting. This story is an absolute gem. It is absolutely fantastic, and it doesn't feel like it drags. I absolutely adore season 13. It is my favourite 4th Doctor's season, as I do love the horror stuff in there, and I think Philip Hinchcliffe is definitely one of the greatest show's producer of all time. What did you think of the Seeds of Doom and season 13? Let me know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.